how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. This is going to be just a quick request video and a little bit of my thought process here and a bit of a follow-up, I suppose, to some of your comments and questions from yesterday's video. So yesterday I posted a video where I talked about the pursuit of perfection in folding knives and how there are certain high-end manufacturers who are just constantly thinking about how to dial in, say, the detent or the smoothness of the action, or how light they can make a knife with milling. Just this constant pursuit of getting these minute details exactly right. And there's quite a cost associated with that. And it's an interesting pursuit. Certainly it's one I enjoy, but you have to admit it's not going to produce practical usable knives for the average person. And so within that video, I asked the question, what knife would you submit in sort of contrast to that effort ultimately would be the best overall pocket knife? Okay, and that's a lofty goal, guys. And I know right from the start, right? The challenge in the question is, I know that there's no single best knife that is, better at everything than every other knife. And that in fact, knives are more like cars, where there's a best car for maybe you and your family, but there's not a general all around best one. And so I know that going in, and that's why the challenge is such, and that's why the question is such a challenge. I really want you to think carefully about all the needs and all the roles that a pocket knife needs to fulfill, and consider, a balance between cost and materials and comfort in hand and ease of use and how it carries and how it deploys and how it locks up, and kind of weigh all of these competing features and figure out what you think balances all of those features out in the best possible way to produce the all-around best pocket knife. So that's what I'm actually looking for. That was what I was looking for yesterday. I would love you to vote in the comments here. Now listen, guys, I know the first thing a lot of you said is there's no best knife. I know that, okay? That's why this question is so difficult, because it asks you to to try your best to put your biases aside. And I get that that's not totally possible, but try your best to put your biases aside and think about all the important features and characteristics that a folding knife needs to have, and ask yourself, okay, which knife gets the closest to balancing all of those things? Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. All right, now, I do want to share some of my potential suggestions with you. Some of them I own. Some of them I'm just going to mention by name. Some of them are really hard to get, so I apologize for that in advance, because one for sure I looked up before making this video and discovered that there's just not a lot out there. So obviously, I think many of you are going to, and some already have suggested, the Para 2 right here, or the Para 3, and that probably reflects your size preference. And I think those would be on my list of considerations as well. So I'm going to give you my list of considerations, and I will narrow it down, by the way, at the end, and give you my suggestion. By the way, I've put a challenge out there to a couple of other YouTube reviewers, and anybody else who's a YouTube reviewer who sees this, feel free to go ahead and make a video about this. I may even contact some of you personally, because there are some opinions I would be pretty curious to hear. All right, but the YouTubers that I talk to regularly, I already asked them and said, hey, if you want to make a video arguing in favor of your suggestion, that's great. So look for some of those videos out there. And what I'll do is, if you're a YouTuber watching this, if you make a video, ask the same question that I did, tally your results, and just send me the results. Okay, I'll get you an email address, and you can just shoot me an email with, here's what people said on my video about this, and then I'll compile all of the results and share those results with the community. All right, so let's get back into my list. Obviously, I would submit, the Para 2, Para 3 on the list. The American Lawman for me is going to be very high, and in a minute I'm going to talk a little bit more about this one. Rat 1, Rat Model 2, especially in the D2 steel, but even in the regular steel, quite a budget offering. I would also add anything from the Manix 2, the Manix 2 Lightweight, or the Lockback, or the original Manix 2. There are a number of variants there. There are even different steels you can get. I wouldn't be suggesting any of the fancy steels, but just a standard Manix 2 in G10, I would absolutely put that on my list of considerations. The 940, I think, deserves a nod because of its blade. So the blade on the 940 is really something special, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm actually working on a comparison video between the Recon One and the Contigo. The Contigo shares the blade shape with the 940, and that is a really, really unique and interesting blade shape, and we'll talk about that. Look for that in a different video. I would also add to my list of considerations the Kaiser Kesmic and the Mastrop Laconico Keen. Now, those stretch my boundaries a little bit because they both have bearings, I believe. Could be wrong about the Keen. I could be wrong about the Kesmic. The Keen has bearings for sure. The Kesmic may or may not have bearings. I want to say that it does. Anyway, that's a discussion for a different day. And actually, I've done lots of video content with both of those knives. So if you're interested in more, you can go take a look at either one of those. And of course, I would also include something from Chris Reeve knives. And while the value equation is difficult to justify on the Chris Reeve knives, the suggestion I would make here is the longevity balances out the cost. Okay, so yeah, this is $400, but it is really a one and done type of knife. You spend that $400 and you're going to be passing that knife on to your kids. So, and that's likely not going to be true of the Para 2 or any of the other knives on our list outside of that. So now, those are my suggestions, and those are the kind of knives I'm thinking about, the kind of general knives that, a Rat 1 or a Rat 2, those are the kind of knives that I could see just about anyone appreciating, and those are knives I recommend an awful lot. But I want to come back. My suggestion, okay, now you guys are more than welcome to disagree with me. In fact, I want you to disagree with me because, if this list only contains, I don't know, 5 knives or something, that's going to suck, okay? In order for this to have any meaning and any value, you need lots of suggestions and lots of votes. So go ahead and share this video as much as possible. Get other people in the community to comment on it. I'd love to see as many votes as possible in the comments here or in the comments on the Sharp Stuff Facebook page or the Canadian Knife and Gear Facebook page or the EDC Addicts Facebook page, or anywhere else. I may even go and start a Blade Forums discussion about this. I won't share this video in that forum, but I'll just kind of put the question out there as something I want to track and get some results on. So my assertion or my entrance for the winner to this contest is the Cold Steel American Lawman. Now, I will say this, by the way. I know because someone's going to say it immediately as soon as I suggest this knife. They have, since this version came out, changed this to a full flat ground knife. Now, I don't like that change. I would have preferred it to stay hollow ground. I don't know why Cold Steel felt the need to make that change, but they did. I'm submitting it as it stands here. And I really don't know if the flat grind ruins it. I'm going to suggest that it doesn't because I know Cold Steel and I know that they care about cutting ability and they care about edge geometry. So I suspect that even the flat ground Lawman still cuts fairly well. I'll grant that I haven't tried one. If you have and you want to suggest that the blade grind is just now a total failure, I'm not going to argue with you. You could be totally right. But let me, aside from that little discussion, tell you why I think the American Lawman is the best all-around folding knife and the one that I most often recommend to people who are like non-knife people, okay? First, we have a blade here with nice CTS XHP blade steel that's going to perform really well and yet not be impossible to sharpen. We've got a great edge geometry and moderate stock thickness. So it's not crazy heavy duty stock thickness here, which means this blade is going to slice really well, but it's also, if you are out in the bush, if you are in a defensive situation, if like anything that you want to do with a knife blade, from cutting up your kids' sandwiches for their lunch or their apples to, skinning a buffalo, this blade can absolutely do it. All right, so that's the first. The versatility here is why I like this. It can really do reasonably well just about anything that you want a knife blade to do. Secondly is going to be the size and weight and overall handle construction and shape. All right, so this handle, it allows you to have, a sort of a backed off grip. It allows you to choke up if you want to do, if you need this to function as a smaller knife, it can do that. It's comfortable in hand, even though it's very thin. Now, it's not maybe the most comfortable knife I've ever felt, but it's more than adequate. And I've done a lot of really hard cutting. I've done more than one camping trip where this was the only knife in my pocket. One time I traveled around the States with some friends and did some camping, and I was not sure about what states we were going in and stuff like that. So I was a little nervous about what to carry. I brought this, and never once did I feel like I didn't have enough knife. And I've done all kinds of crazy stuff with this, even some light batoning with this, and it's been fine. Not a bit of movement in the blade. It's rock solid. So I've tested this for years personally and can say, yeah, this knife really does hold up to some really hard use, and the grip is comfortable enough that you're not in pain or extreme discomfort while doing that. But the other thing is this blade, or I mean this handle is also quite thin. So when you're carrying this knife, you really don't even know you have a knife. It's that slim. And it's under 4 ounces. I want to say it might be 4.1 ounces or something like that, but it's very close to 4 ounces. So it's lightweight and it's super slim. So you've got a knife you don't even know is in your pocket. When you take it out, you can literally do anything, right? It doesn't matter what you need to do with the knife. This is going to be capable of it. And with the Triad lock, it's going to be strong enough that you can do all of that stuff with confidence and not even worry about ruining your knife. The one drawback that I admitted a second ago was the flat grind may be a problem. I don't think that, I suspect that it wouldn't be. I do have some other flat ground cold steels and they cut very well. My main comparison, I suppose, would be the Ultimate Hunter, which was a flat ground blade, and it performed very well. Really good blade. Okay, so there you go, guys. That's my submission, the American Lawman. I would love to hear yours. As I say, I would love for you to disagree with me and even bring up stuff that I didn't mention on my list. Let me throw these knives back in here while I say, hey, guys, go ahead and use the discount code I've put in the description box below. That does help the channel, and you get 10% off over at White Mountain Knives. So thanks a lot, Justin, for doing that. Again, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to vote wherever you can vote. Thanks a lot for participating, and we will talk to you soon.